Goliath. I defy the armies of Israel today. Give me a greater shoulder that we may fight together.
Who is this evil Philistine that he defies the armies of the living God? Don't let your hearts fail. Don't be afraid because of him. I will fight this living remnant of the Nephilim, this living giant defying Goliath. I may be young and just a shepherd, not a soldier. David, son of Jesse, I'm allied with the Most High. This battle's not mine, but the Lord's, and moreover, I've been protected from the jaws and the claws of the lion and the bear. My Father God, he delivered me. How much more will he save me from this Philistine? I trust in him, not my own abilities.
Who is this puny shepherd boy? Since I told you, consider me a dog. I'll give your flesh to the fowls of the air, and the beast of the field will devour you.
You come at me with your sword and your spear and your shield against the very God of Israel. Your fate is sealed. This very day I will smite thee with your own sword. I'm gonna separate your head from your body. The whole assembly will know that the battle is the Lord's. He saveth not with the weapon or the sword or the hand of man. I don't rely on the material. So at that moment David charged at the giant and took one smooth stone out of his pocket and shot it with a sling. The thrust of a rocket, a bullseye shot between the eyes dropped Goliath. The stone sunk in and he was dead on the spot. He fell face first and every jaw there dropped because they couldn't believe that this giant got popped by a little shepherd boy with a sling and a rod. When the armies of Goliath saw this, they lost all confidence and were defenseless in the process. They ran like dogs for the hills of Gath. They were no match after that when their weapons clashed. And as a proof that no man should cast out, David kept the giant's head in the armored amount. Let no man boast, be it a sign to those who put their hopes in self instead of God's control. So the moral of the story clearly meant that we should put our trust in God, not ourselves who sin, not our bombs or guns or the minds of men. He watches over those who put their faith in him. So when you face your own giants, your life's Goliath, you can stand with confidence and defy the silence. The only armor that you need has been provided. Don't rely upon yourself, use Christ for guidance.
Good evening, everybody. DestinyLab.com if you want to get some of this awesome music that I play every show. DestinyLab.com. Go check them out. Okay, here we go. On with the show. David, are you ready to go? Bang. Still got to listen to the effing ringtone. I've turned it off like 5 times, but it just won't turn off for whatever second. There he is. Yay. We didn't have to listen to it too long. What's up, David? I'm going to jump over here and grab Lance Mussa and get him added in. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, sweet. Sweet. I think everybody can hear you too because I can. So we got all that figured out. No shit like the last time. Yay. Okay. Just, I guess, go ahead and take off on your new stuff. I'm going to jump down the list here and see if there's anybody else that wants to add in. I don't think so, but we'll go check. Lance said he'd be a little bit late. Find him here and get him added in. What do you got on the top of your stack of stuff?
I don't know. I want to start off with there first. What's that?
I just coughed. Sorry.
Oh. North Korea says there's no willingness to meet with us at Olympics. You know, we sent Pence over there at the big delegation. You know, North Korea sent one of their high-level senior military officials over there, and then they turn around and ask, well, you know, he's sending his sister over there now to South Korea to the Olympic delegation for 3 days. And so, you know, it's been wondering if Pence and her were going to meet, you know, kind of behind the scenes. And North Korea come out and said, absolutely not. We're not going to beg to talk to the United States ever.
Yeah. Didn't North Korea send a boat over there and try to trade it for gas? Something?
Well, they sent a boat over there with their 300-woman cheer squad on it.
Yeah.
And then they sent it over there. And once they got it there, you know, it's going to be the sleeping quarters for, I think, some of the athletes, too. Mm-hmm. They got, like, I think they're going to have, I don't know how many athletes over there. I think 22. And so that was going to be their sleeping quarters too. Well, they sent it. They had enough fuel to make it there, and they turned around and they told South Korea, we really need you to fuel this up so our athletes can stay here during the Olympics, and so we can make our way back at the end of it. And so South Korea is going to do it. They're going to break sanctions that they put on them themselves several years ago. They're going to break sanctions and put fuel in this ship the way it looks.
I thought they were trying to sell the boat for fuel. The story that I read said that they were trying to sell it for fuel and asked them to ship it over to North Korea.
No.
Okay. So I guess the story I read was wrong, or they interpreted what they saw in a tweet wrong, or whatever. I don't know.
They must have, because they brought over their chair crew, and like I said, they had asked South Korea before they sent it over there, even if you would fill it back up for the ride back, and South Korea never responded, so they sent the ship anyway with the people on there, and North Korea asked again, said, and I think South Korea is going to break their personal sanctions on them and fuel it up, and they're breaking UN sanctions too.
Mm-hmm.
But this President Moon is just he's got such a willingness to try to strengthen ties between them two again. But you don't, Little Kim's a master what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He's playing Moon. Little Kim has no desire to reunify with South Korea. He really doesn't.
Right.
And so he's doing this just to flaunt UN sanctions. He's doing this just to poke America in the eye and anyone else that's against him. And I'm sure South Korea's liberal president knows this, but at the same time, I think he's still hoping that this is a show for some kind of peace. He doesn't want a war there, and I talk about this all the time in your show. You can't blame him, because it's going to be the South Koreans and Japanese who pay the highest price in a war over there. So of course this president's looking for some kind of way out, because he knows America's just going to circumvent him when the time comes and just start blowing the place apart over there without South Korea's permission. That this president keeps telling Trump, please ask us first before you do this. Just don't show up and do it and leave us hanging here.
Right.
And that's their biggest fear right now. So, you can see where South Korea's president's trying to get some normalcy going, but he knows America is going to circumvent him after the Olympics here. I think he knows it's going to happen. We definitely know what's going to happen. And it is going to happen. I mean, the buildup is just there. I mean, it was announced today that China has massed 300,000 troops on their border with North Korea right now. 300,000.
Imagine that.
And Russia has moved up its air defense to full alert on their border with North Korea.
I can imagine there's quite a few Russians on the little tiny border they got too. So
they got like a 24.5-mile border, I think, with them. And they've got air defenses up there, and so everybody knows it's coming. This is going to be a battle. It really, truly is. Another thing, we were supposed to test launch an ICBM coming up, and we backed out of it. And
that's because the last one that they shot out of Hawaii or whatever was a complete failure. So
well, this is the one at Vandenberg. This is an ICBM. This isn't an anti-missile test.
Oh, okay.
This is a boomer that we want to send off to one of the atolls and blow it up.
Nice.
And so we backed out of it, and everybody's wondering why. Well, Little Kim is having his parade here in the next hour or so. Mm-hmm. And I've been watching the live stream waiting for it to start, matter of fact. But anyway, he's getting ready to have that. And South Korea got some kind of intel that North Korea wasn't going to show off their missiles in this parade. Now, that's kind of verified, but they're saying that that's why America canceled this ICBM test, is a show of basically thanks.
Oh. Okay.
And
I thought all the ones in the parade were mock-ups anyway. I didn't think that was actually. Well, go ahead.
They bring up their road mobile missiles all the time in these parades. Yeah,
but I mean they're all painted brand new. I thought they were all mock-ups for the parade.
No, some of them are real.
Oh, right on. Go ahead.
I can't say exactly which ones, but they do bring out some real ones in there, like their Hwasong 14. That's one of their long-range ICBMs. They'll bring it out, and so who knows? Like I said, I'm waiting for this parade to start to see if they show. Because you're really conflicting. Usually by this time when their parades start, they've got their missiles and stuff all lined up ready to go. Well, there's been no, out of all the satellite images the past couple days, there hadn't been any missiles lined up anywhere. And so it's just looking like so far artillery and jets and 50,000 soldiers marching, or 13,000, something like that. With 50,000 people in this parade and everything, and so it'll be interesting to see.
Mercy. Well, at least we've got enough couth to stop blowing up innocent islands, just to say thanks to little Kim.
Like I said, if that's good of Trump. I don't know. I'm on the fence with that, But
well, if it was good of Trump. He gave his big button arrest. So that's cool.
We just don't cancel ICBM tests just out of the blue for no reason.
I said it on the last show. It's been so long since we set one off. I'm wondering if that we can still set one off. Just saying. They've been sitting in tubes for how many years? You know what I mean? Nobody's ever pulled one out and went, dink, dink. I wonder if this still works.
These ones they launch off of Vandenberg, are made ready to shoot. They haven't, you don't know if these ones that have been sitting in these silos for all these years can actually work.
Right. Mice get around in there,
Just because your test one works all the time don't mean that the permanent ones do.
Right. And I think the ones that they fly out of Vandenberg are small. I mean, they're not very big, a couple of kilotons or whatever.
Yeah, they're not as big as the ones they shoot out of the ground.
Right.
And so, I've always wondered that too. Yeah, these test ones work, but how do you know these ones in the ground are actually going to do their job if the time comes?
Right. So, is the Olympics going to go down without any bombing runs and shit like that? Do you think? I mean, where are you standing on that right now?
Well,
because it takes off here what, today. 2 days, 3 days.
Pence is over there in a delegation right now. He was in Japan today.
So they were going to put the biggest ever sanctions on.
Yep, and that's either A, a naval blockade, or B, an oil blockade.
I thought they already had all that in place already.
What's that?
I thought all that was in place already. I thought they said nobody can sell them any fuel, nobody can trade with them, blah, blah, blah. I thought, we've had sanctions on them for 50 years. How many more can we put?
Well, the way the ship sanction now is, any of these countries can search any of these ships at any given time. That's UN sanctions. Now America's fixing to put their own personal sanctions maybe on North Korea shipping. Even, the toughest ones yet, basically saying, I don't know, and also, like I said, the oil's not completely cut off to them yet. We may put our own personal oil embargo on them.
Okay.
I don't know. There's not any harder sanctions you can go than either a naval blockade or a complete oil blockade.
Right, because they barely get food right now. You know what I'm saying? It's just, go ahead.
It's going to be something really pissed Kim off. That much. And so we're, like I said, we're doing what we can to get this war going. We're to the end of it now. These toughest sanctions is pretty much the elite coming out and saying, guess what, people? We're at the end of the road. The road just ran out.
So they're going to keep bitching back and forth during the Olympics, and then finally after the Olympics is over, when we get all the kids back home where they're safe and sound, and say, talks are done. Time to start dropping.
Well, they're saying that some bigger analysis was saying today that with North Korea not wanting to talk to us at the Olympics, that it's pretty much the calm before the storm now.
Okay.
I said basically with that sending Pence, we were trying to send a signal to Kim to talk to us, and basically he just told us to stick it up our asses.
Yeah.
So talk time's pretty much done. I mean, you've got our defense Secretary of Defense Mattis coming out today saying that he's 100% for diplomacy, and he'll go with diplomacy until the first bomb drops. Mm. And Tillerson said the same thing, and I believe them too. I think them two really don't want a war, because Mattis knows what war's about. Tillerson, he was an ex-CEO of Exxon. Who knows about him, but he's been pushing for peace too. And so, but Trump keeps undercutting these guys. Every time they say they want peace, Trump throws it out there. Well, maybe we got to bomb them. I don't know if it's a good cop, bad cop scenario, but it's not working, whatever scenario we're doing with North Korea, because they're not going to give up those nuclear weapons without a fight. They're absolutely not. They'll go down in a blaze of glory before they give those nukes up to us. So it's to the point.
Yeah, it's just like us. We wouldn't never give ours up just because some other country said, "Hey, no, we don't want you to have any." Sorry.
Exactly it. It's just to that point. He's not going to give up his nukes. So we got two choices right now. Either A, we learn to live with a nuclear armed North Korea, or B, we go over and we take them.
Yep.
That's the two choices. And I don't think that they're going to live with a nuclear armed Korea, whether they want to or not. They need another war.
You still think that China's going to hold off? If we, a preemptive strike, they already said if we preemptively strike them, then they're full on in helping North Korea. So is that all still in the water?
China and Russia aren't going to hold up if we go over there and preemptively strike.
That's what I thought.
Neither one of them. This is why Putin just moved Iskander missiles to Kaliningrad. He's got nuclear-capable missiles as of yesterday, pointed permanently right now. So he's not moving them like they do with drills.
Right.
These are permanently pointed at Europe, and he's able to hit them directly now, real fast with these Iskanders. We sent over some NATO planes yesterday, flying right off the coast of Kaliningrad, and we're going at it over there big time, nuclear style. It's going to just take us one nuke being launched, and everybody's just going to let loose.
So, what's the rate of people leaving Seoul right now? Because I got to believe, I'm just thinking, in the back of my head, if they're reading any of the headlines coming in the papers and stuff, they're probably like, I'm out of here, man. Fuck this. So
we got the Olympics starting there on Friday night, and it's a crazy time.
Yeah,
Stupidest place to have the Olympics. I think if it wasn't for the Olympics, we'd be in war right now with North Korea.
And the Paralympics are right behind it, so it's.
Yeah, we won't be able to do anything with North Korea if we don't want any kind of retaliation until after the Olympics, which is the end of February, I think, which would be March probably before we could do anything. You're not hearing a lot in the news. You got the Carl Vinson that's over there now, floating between there and Guam and all around that area, just waiting for something.
All right. You want to move on?
All the bombers in Guam that what did Mattis come out and say yesterday? That we're gonna up the missile air defense over on Guam right now. We're moving over more anti-missile systems to protect Guam the best we can.
Right.
And so he talked about that was it yesterday or today?
Don't we got a bunch of hardware over there? We got billions of dollars worth of aircraft sitting on the ground over there right now. So, it's a good thing that they're trying to protect all that shit. I don't want to have to replace nothing. It's expensive. Go ahead.
All right, now I'll move away from North Korea here for a minute. Let's talk about Syria.
Okay.
Early this morning, last night, I guess late last night at our time, Israel struck right outside of Damascus. They hit a chemical weapons, non-conventional type of side research center. This is the third time that Israel's hit it or second time Israel's hit that in 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And, what's funny is the other day we claimed that Assad used chlorine in Idlib. And, I don't know.
That was according to activists on the ground. Everything, all the stories that I'm just talking to the room real quick for just a second. All the stories that you people have been reading on the mainstream media, or even most of the posts that I've been reading on Facebook, even coming from reputable alternative media, are all quoting this activist on the ground that said that there was an attack. Nothing's ever been vetted. Nothing has ever been vetted on this chlorine attack. So, go ahead. I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure everybody was fully aware of that. This has not been vetted. Nothing.
Well, we're saying it has been.
It came from the fucking white helmets, man.
No, I know that. I'm just saying. Our government is saying it happened.
I know. Our government said a lot of shit. They said that Russia was involved in the fucking election. Yeah. So there you go. Go ahead.
Well, they come out anyway and said that this happened. It was a smaller attack the other day. It was right after that Russian pilot got shot down.
Right.
And, Russia and Syria just started pounding parts of Idlib. It's the last major rebel stronghold. It's where they shipped all the rebels that made, that were in other towns that made peace with Assad and Russia. And they said, all right, you can go to Idlib. So they sent all these rebels to Idlib, and now they got them all in one spot. Now they're blowing the shit out of the place. Because these rebels chose to die later instead of sooner. They could either died in the first battles they were in, or they could have been bussed to Idlib here and fought in the end. So
this is like deja vu. Didn't we do this 5 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that? I don't know. It's like deja vu. Go ahead.
But anyway,
because this is the Syria war starting all over again. But everything's already destroyed. They got nothing left to bomb except innocent people now. You know what I mean? All the buildings are already razed to the fucking ground. There's no, unless they actually go after Assad's palace and shit, there's nothing left to bomb. Go ahead. Sorry.
And so, Israel hit them again earlier this morning. And, because of that chemical attack, we announced the other day, they said that if you do this, or we announced this before this chemical attack the other day, it was like the day or two before, and this is funny how it worked. We said, Assad, if you do one more chemical attack, we're going to pound you.
Yeah, we told this North Korea
chemical attack mysteriously happened, and then what happens, we got Israel to pound them. Because Israel hit that research center where they're supposedly make chemical weapons.
Yeah.
So we got Israel to pound them for us. That was considered payback what happened early this morning.
It'll probably come out later that it was a toilet paper factory or something, and they killed 25 innocent people.
But the big thing is this, is tonight we bombed some of Assad's forces tonight because they attacked some of our SDF rebels that we support over and toward northern Syria. And they said that Assad attacked them unprovoked. And so we sent a jet over and dropped a couple bombs on them and killed some people. And so this war in Syria is fixing to interface too, with what Erdogan's got going in northern Syria, what we're doing up there in northern Syria, what Israel's doing now, going in, they're doing more bombings. It's just going to get out of control here.
It already is.
And meanwhile, Putin is just standing back watching.
Yeah.
And I don't get that. It's like, he come in so tough and all this. And I agree he took care of a lot of ISIS fighters. I'll give him that. He cleaned that place out of ISIS real fast. But I will say this. He's bombing cities too over there with Assad right now, where these rebels are embedded with civilians and killing women and kids too right now. And that's a fact. The deal is this, though, is he's allowing Israel to come in whenever they want to do anything. He's allowing us to do stuff over in northern Syria. He's not backing, he just wanted his bases in Syria, and he's going to have like 6 of them. That's all he gives a rat's ass about. He don't really care about Assad. He cared about getting his foot into Syria and getting his bases set up.
Yep.
And now he's done that. And as long as we don't fuck with his bases, he doesn't give a rat's ass what we're doing to Assad over there.
Well,
he doesn't. He's got those S-400s all over the place, S-300s. He's allowing Israel to fly in uninterrupted. Now, Assad did knock down a couple of the missiles that Israel shot in yesterday. I'll say that much with anti-aircraft missiles. But the deal is, he's allowing Israel to do this. He's allowing America to do this, and he's not targeting our jets. After Turkey, after these rebels shot down, tell me this, Jimmy. After those rebels shot down that Russian jet the other day, and that pilot, got in a firefight with him and pulled that pin on the grenade and killed himself.
That dude was ballsy, man.
Yeah, and I'll give him that. But the deal is this. Russia got the pilot's body back the other day. You know how he got it? He talked to Turkey. Mm-hmm. So he knows that Turkey's proxies these Al Qaeda fighters that Turkey trained and put out there killed this Russian pilot and did nothing to Turkey about it except, hey, can you get the body back for us? Sure, Putin. Here you go. All right, everything's cool.
Well, you got to give him just a little bit, man. I mean, he's playing everything close to the vest right now, dude. He don't want to stick nothing out to get it cut off.
In my mind.
Well, but you can't react. You have to act. You can't react to a situation.
He's had 2 jets shot down from Turkey now. He's fucking had America go in there and wiping out Assad's troops that he's supposed to be over there protecting. He's allowing Israel to come in there unabatedly and blow shit up.
I feel you, brother, but he's going to wait until this whole thing kicks off willy-nilly, and then he's going to get his blows when he can get his blows. He doesn't want to go, look, man, when you're living in a cesspool, you don't make waves because everybody gets a mouthful of shit, right? You just don't. So he's not making any waves right now. He's going to strike when the iron's hot. This cat's not stupid, man.
No, this is why he just moved those missiles to Kaliningrad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's not stupid. He's biding his time, and he's going to make his strikes when they're completely available to him. He's a student of the art of war.
You just wonder how much he's going to let Assad get ass raped before he does anything.
Hey, man, that's between him and Assad. They've had face-to-face, so they know where each other stands.
I don't know, man. I agree with some of that, but not all of it, man.
I don't agree with any of it right now. I don't agree with any of it right now.
I don't agree with any of it, but I mean, if the person's going to play the game of war, I think I'd been a little bit more heavily handed by now if I was Putin. Not balls to the wall, but just enough to let America and Israel and whoever else.
Yeah, but you don't want to. When you've got all kinds. Look, he's thinking of in-house too, right? Not only on the ground in Syria do we have double agents, but even in-house over in main motherland Russia, right? There's agents all around him that are at. All they got to do is write a fat check, and they'll give whatever information that they, everybody's driven by the dollar, dude. So he's keeping everything close to his vest. That's all. That I'm giving him that. We'll see. I might be completely wrong, dude, and he might turn out to be the biggest pussy that ever walked, and he's just letting everybody get stomped around him. But I don't see that from him. He's one of the only world leaders that is actually being a politician and not a bully.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Yeah, that's because from the time he stepped on the scene with the whole Syria thing, he was the only one at the table that was saying, "Peace, peace. We need to find a peaceful solution." And everybody else was like, "No, we're coming over here and we're taking this and we're taking this and we're taking." You know what I mean? So, I give him that. He's a crafty motherfucker too, dude. Look where he came from.
I'll tell you what, though, the minute we get a jet shot down over there, there's going to be holy hell to pay. We won't hold back.
Yep.
That's the thing between us and Russia. Putin may have some patience. America's never had patience, no matter who the president is.
Well, and you got to think that the first time that an IDF soldier gets blown out of the sky, because missiles one thing, but if they take a pilot out, we'll see. We'll see where it goes from there. And if they deliberately strike his bases, I think, Katie, that's going to be a different ball game. Shooting a plane down, the pilot. I heard some rumor, not rumor, but I saw some things in print that said that the pilot, number one, he was flying way too low for where they were at, and that he knew it. So, he kind of, he was flaunting with death, and death got him.
Yeah, because Russia gave orders for their pilots to fly higher after that.
Yep, stay higher. They had a 8,000 or not 8,000, 1,800 foot ceiling or something like that, and he was way lower than that. He was like 600 feet or something. So, I don't know. We'll see what comes of it. All right, what else you got, man? You want to keep pounding on this one, or there's more serious stuff to go on? What's Turkey going? Turkey, didn't Erdogan just go over and smoochy with the Pope, with Pope Frank?
Yeah, he was just over Jesuit the other day.
Yeah, the Jesuit turncoat
meeting, and you got Erdogan, who's nothing more than Satan, man. And he's sitting there, here he is running an operation, genocide in the Kurds, called, like I said, Operation, Operation
Olive Branch.
Yeah, olive branch.
Yeah.
You know, which means
Peace, man.
And so here he is over running this operation, and here he is sitting at the Vatican at the same time, you know, and it's supposedly one of the holiest places in the world.
He's one of the ones. He's one of the first ones that I've seen not kiss his ring. Most all the world leaders, when they meet him, they kiss his ring, and Erdogan didn't.
He'll probably melt if he did.
Well, I'm surprised when he walked in there, he didn't burst into flame. But that's Satan's playground. You're talking about the Catholic Church or the Vatican. So, not all Catholics are bad. Okay,
so that takes some balls
take me
to
wrong.
sit down with the Pope, and then and knowing that your soldiers are out just genociding people right now. You know?
And how many Christians have they killed over the centuries? The Turks.
You know, this talk about Turkey, this came out, says a U.S. outpost in Syria, U.S. general backs Kurdish fighters. This came out today. It says, on the ground in Syria, the top U.S. general in the coalition fighting the Islamic State group pledged on Wednesday that American troops would remain in the northern Syrian town of Manbij despite Turkey's demands for a U.S. pullout. It says, we're here to ensure the lasting defeat of ISIS is maintained in this area, said Lieutenant General Paul E. Funk. And it says the U.S.-backed opposition, SDF,
Funk.
is the ones fighting there now. But this lieutenant general said, "We're not pulling out, Turkey. Pretty much, you're going to have to engage us if you want this town." Which Turkey does want that town. They want that town after they're done with Afrin.
Everybody's out there trying to get their peace, man. You know. Who's protecting the town now? YPG?
Yep. Branch of the Kurds, and the SDF that we run, they're all Kurds, and a lot of other, Assad did allow other Kurdish fighters to travel because the Assad's troops run part of Manbij too. Mm-hmm. And they allowed Kurdish fighters to come through. They're untouched through their area. They control and go up toward Afrin.
Is Iran saying anything about this? Because they've got fighters over there too, don't they?
Yeah, they said this war with Afrin that Turkey's doing needs to end right now.
So you got to know that they're supplying the Kurds and funneling shit in there to them. I'm thinking
probably. Well, we're supplying the Kurds too.
I thought Trump put a stop to that though.
That's what he says. I don't buy that.
Well, yeah, I get where you're going. Okay.
Just like we don't know who ISIS is either.
Hey, we retweet. Same as the Rothschilds, man. Fund both sides of the war, and you never lose.
Yeah. I thought this was interesting. I'm just to step away from war for 1 second.
Yeah, hang on, just 1 second. What's up, Lance? What's up, Lance?
Trying to get off mute there.
There you go.
What's up, Jimmy?
Welcome to the show, brother.
What's up, Lance?
What up?
You want to add in anything yet?
No, man. I've been listening for a while, but no. I haven't been following all that stuff over there.
Okay. Go back to your
CNN. They don't talk about that on CNN. I do have a fascinating Google story that I want to touch on later, though, that I saw tonight.
Oh, absolutely.
Fascinating.
Absolutely. I love it when you key up the mic and actually add to the show because you're supposed to be my partner and stuff. Okay. Back to you, Dave.
Jeff Sessions, that piece of shit he is, I can't stand the guy. It's like a Keebler elf. And he came out tonight in an interview, and this is what he said. He said, Attorney General Jeff Sessions says his goal for 2018 is to see a further decline in prescription of opioids. And this is what he said, I quote, and I've got the video of him saying this. He said, we think a lot of this is starting with marijuana and other drugs.
He's a fucking idiot. He is an absolute uneducated idiot and needs to learn when to shut the fuck up.
So he's blaming the opioid crisis on marijuana.
Because he's a fucking idiot.
A way to blame it all on marijuana.
He's an idiot. He's an idiot. He is an idiot. He is an uneducated idiot when it comes to anything to do with cannabis. Period.
He wants to eradicate marijuana before any other drug in this country.
Because he's got all kinds of fucking stocks in pharmaceutical companies, man. He's paid to say the dumb. He cannot be. Look, as much as marijuana has been in the news over the last 2-3 years since they legalized it in Colorado and started making billions of dollars off the legal cannabis industry and medical marijuana industry, the studies have just flowed out of the woodwork. 5,000 plus now studies that prove that cannabis and hemp oil and cannabinoids they kill cancer, amongst other things. So look, if it is that much out in the open media and he is still unwise to it, it is on purpose. Therefore, I call him completely stupid.
Oh, I agree with you on that, man. All the stocky ass pharmaceuticals, of course, they're telling them to come out against weed.
Absolutely.
They've been telling them he's had money in pharmaceuticals since Jimmy Carter.
When he comes out and says that shit, dude, they fucking tear him up on Twitter. So he can't be that stupid. I mean, they send him links to the fucking articles. I promised myself I wasn't gonna cuss on this show. Sorry. I want to try to curb it back a little bit. At least.
You know, that's one guy in Trump's cabinet I'd like to
Maybe
see
next
go.
show.
That'd be him.
He's a buffoon. He has no business being the attorney general if he's completely stupid to cannabis. No business.
Exactly. That's exactly
that has
it.
nothing to do with any legal precedent whatsoever, because cannabis has never killed anybody ever, unless they got hit by a bale falling out of a plane. But no, this is a personal vendetta that he's got against the weed. So fuck him. He's an idiot, and I don't give a fuck what he says. He will not change anything that I do in my life ever. No.
Yep, I agree with that. Look what Vermont
Chime in, Lance. I know you got something you want to say to that son of a bitch.
Oh, no, I agree with him. I think it's a gateway drug.
As he
tugs, joint and turn around and start down in fentanyl.
As I just put the final twist on one.
Yeah. Or I was gonna say, as he pulls on his fucking diffuser.
Don't start slamming fentanyl after you smoke that.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was gonna try to find some of that crocodile or whatever it was called after this.
Don't start mainlining meth after you smoke that joint.
Yeah, just
right?
Dive into it.
Or get in the car and go fucking wrap my car around a tree and kill a couple people because I can't drive straight down the road fucking stoned.
Right. Dive into a tub full of bath salts.
And it's like David said in there in the room, hell, it's legal in D.C. And that's what I tell people. I'm like, look, it's legal in the capital of the United States. What's that fucking tell you?
Yeah. It's not about the weed. It's about the taxes and shit. It's about the pharmaceutical companies got a hold on everything. Well,
it was like I said, was that Vermont or New Hampshire the other day went ahead and legalized without even taking a vote.
Yeah, fuck it.
Virginia, they're passing the medicinal here in Virginia.
Yeah, we'll have it here in October. They said now they're getting everything all set up right now after a 2-year delay almost.
Race to the top, man. $45 billion they made in Colorado last year in taxes alone. 45 bill. B with a B, billion.
Yeah, don't smoke a joint, then turn around and eat a Tide Pod, Lance.
Yeah, I know, right? I saw that in there. No, but I have cut it down. I mean, I only do it on special occasions, when I'm with other people and by myself.
That's right.
That's it. It's the only time I'm doing it from now on.
Yep. Only on days that end in Y.
Dude, I smoke 2 fucking joints before I go to work every morning. I mean,
it keeps me
every morning I smoke 2 fucking joints.
It keeps me from fucking slapping stupid people, man. You know what I mean? It keeps me mellow. That way if I run into an idiot,
it keeps me mellow. It keeps me from getting mad. I mean, I don't get mad at work, and I got a promotion at work now, so I got to even chill out more.
Ooh, he's a big wig.
Yeah, I can't believe it. I can't believe I took the job.
You going to be back in a Corvette soon?
Nah. I had my days with the Corvette.
Buy another
I
set
enjoyed
of,
it while it lasted. But
buy another set of tits for somebody?
I want a truck.
Oh, there you go. Big 4-wheel drive, man. Yeah.
Yep.
Get your big F-250.
Yep.
All right. Enough rabbit holing. Back to you, David.
So, what do you guys think about this military parade Trump wants to have?
Oh my God.
I think, I was watching that earlier tonight, and I just couldn't even put my thoughts into words.
They said it's going to be like $20 million to put this fucking thing on.
Yeah, I mean,
are we 20 trillion in
and can
debt?
you imagine how many fucking sheep will be there?
Oh, waving their
cheering
flags,
cheering them on. Whoever makes,
but then
American
you'll have
flags,
whoa.
Somebody in Congress just bought a bunch of stock in American flags.
But then you'll have a bunch of safe space areas around with people running around with their little pussy hats on, screaming at the top of their lungs, "Fuck Trump!" You know, so I mean, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other, right?
Well, do you agree with the parade, though? Do you agree?
No. But I mean, it's a parade is for patriotism, and it's to rally a country for false beliefs behind you, which is what they do in the Korea ones over there. So, I mean, it would lead me to believe is they're trying to create some kind of patriotism for something that's getting ready to come up.
Well, hey, I would much rather them have a parade than do another 9/11. Because that was what they did for the last time they wanted everybody to rally together and fucking hang a flag.
Yeah, well, they could do it at that event.
Well, that's true. That's true.
And that would even gain more patriotism than anything you could ever do in America.
They'll roll real live missiles down the road, and one of them will lose its brakes and rear end another one. There you go.
He wants to pull out the nukes too.
Oh fuck,
America.
Yeah,
America.
Make that sumbitch glow in the dark.
You know, here we go after North Korea for having these military parades like the one they're having in an hour or so, but yet then Trump turns around. It's just jealousy. You know, he wants this to be on him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he doesn't give a shit. You know, he might like our troops. Don't get me wrong. I don't know, but I think he gives more about how he looks and how the troops are getting honored. You know, he wants the rest of the world.
I'd agree with that 100%.
Yeah. He wants people like Putin and Xi Jinping and Little Kim and Ayatollah of Iran to see see how big and bad we are when they already know how big and bad we are. The whole world knows how big and bad we are.
Can you imagine the memes if he's like in a parade box of all the different communist leaders sitting in front of their parades as they go by?
Oh,
like
yeah.
the Hitler memes.
There'll be all kinds of that
imagine.
Shit. Yeah. They'll just do a face swap with him and Kim Jong-un.
Well, they're trying to figure out if
are they going to have the boys duck walking in front of him and shit?
Yeah, they're going to have it all.
Oh, Jesus.
He wants the full blown one, and the deal's like one analyst says we don't even know if Pennsylvania Avenue can handle tanks running down it.
Merc. Yeah, they'll be busting through
up the streets, so they're going to have to take down all
kinds of sinkholes and shit, and
all the light poles. They're going to have to do all kinds of stuff. And they said we don't have enough troops in D.C. to stage a parade, that we'd have to bring in troops from all around the United States to bring them there. And they said on top of that, the same with machinery. All of our machinery is scattered everywhere. We'd have to, get some of it from here, from there, and ship it all in. Trump is insane, man. I'm sorry. He's insane when it comes to stuff like this. This is about him.
It won't ever happen. It won't ever happen.
They asked Mattis today. This is what Mattis said on it today. He was doing one of his. He did a thing with the press today and he hardly ever talks to the press. But he said, I think we're all aware in this country of the president's affection and respect for the military. He says we've been putting together some options. We'll send them up to the White House for a decision. Talking about this parade. Mm-hmm. So they gave him different options he can choose from. Trump, he's all about the narcissism, man. He wants this to be about him, and he's going to do it.
Just call the Thunderbirds and the Blue Angels and have them fly around Washington, D.C. for a little bit and do their tricks in the air and be done with it, man. Come on. We don't need to be
we had somewhat of a military parade in 1991 when we pushed Iraq out of Kuwait.
Whoopee.
We had a
ticker tape for all the fucking Yeah, for all the hostages. There was a ticker tape for all the hostages that came home. Yeah.
You know, and there were some military vehicles in that and stuff. But what Trump wants is something that this country hasn't had since the end of the Civil War.
Yeah.
That's what they said today. It says what Trump wants is last time we've had anything that Trump wants to have, we haven't had since the Civil War, end of the Civil War.
Mobile launchers, airplanes flying over, paratroopers.
Yeah, he wants the whole 9 yards.
Yep.
He wants the stealth fighters.
Thousands of fucking troops walking down the streets, all, whatever.
And it's like I said, it'll be a process. If I was this people, I'd say, hey, dude, you're insane, man.
But it might be a ploy to have everybody stocked up in whatever town they do this in so they can take over that whole area of the fucking country really quick,
everybody says, instead of funding the military on a year-by-year basis now, we need to fund it, for a longer term. We could take this $20 million and just give it directly to the military. Fund it a lot longer than year by year. That's how we fund our military in this country. We're so fucking broke, we fund them year by year.
Right. That's the same way we fund Israel's army.
Yep, that is.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm laughing. But hey, they don't give a fuck, dude. If they want more money, all they got to do is look at the Fed and go, "Please, come on, give us some more money." And they print them. It's just digits on a computer now, dude. They don't give a shit. 20 trillion. The tax receipts from this country, if everybody paid their taxes in this country that was working, the tax receipts wouldn't even cover the interest on our debt. So just consider that, people, when you go to fill out your 1040 and volunteer your money to the government.
No, man, they're giving me money back.
Yeah.
That means I overpaid them all fucking year and let them keep my money instead of adjusting my deductions on my pay stub. But neither here nor there. Talk to your CPA.
What's that?
I mean, I have somebody do my taxes.
What's those?
Right.
All right, David, back to you. We got to talk. We got to talk about the bond market before you get out of here, Lance. Too. So.
Oh yeah.
Remember to throw that in too. When you. Okay. All right. Go ahead, David.
They're saying the first images from this military parade in North Korea is coming out right now. So far, it's not on North Korean TV. It's most likely that it won't be on there until they get a chance to edit it real good. Then they'll throw it on North Korean TV because they didn't let international press over there this time.
They can Photoshop in a bunch of people in the background.
Yeah. All these pictures that are going to come out, they're going to control the narrative completely.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Little Kim wanted this time. Instead of the world seeing it happen in real time, he wants to go through it all and control it all himself.
Mm-hmm.
Our satellites will see it all, so our military will know what's shown in it and what's not.
I hope they have a good time, man. Are they going to throw candy to the kids and shit? That's what they usually do at parades.
You ever watch one of the North Korea's parades?
Oh, yeah. All the duck walking and everybody, the shit in the background that's obviously photoshopped in. It's really cool. Everybody flipping their cards over and making the flag out of everybody in the crowd. And yeah, it's really cool. It's kind of like what they do in China.
Or the Olympics.
Or Germany back in the day.
Yeah, I do want to touch on the Super Bowl and the devil.
Oh my God, you didn't want to touch on? Okay, all right. 10 more minutes. We'll let Dave do headlines and whatnot, and then second hour we'll rabbit hole. Cool. Ready, Dave? Go.
Yeah, I'm trying to find this one story right here. All right, this came out today. It says, Carson said North Korea could knock out electrical grid, make U.S. like the purge all the time.
What the fuck does that do?
It says, Housing and Urban Development Secretary Ben Carson reportedly expressed concerns to colleagues that North Korea could wipe out the U.S. electrical grid, making the nation resemble the film The Purge.
Dude, go back to fixing people's hearts and shit, man. Shut the fuck up.
It says, Carson made the comment at a Capitol Hill holiday party hosted by a friend and former presidential campaign advisor Armstrong Williams, according to the Washington Post. In the midst of rising tensions between President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, and this is what Carson said. He says, did you know that if North Korea detonated a nuclear weapon into our exosphere, it could take out our entire electrical grid? It says Carson reportedly asked his acting chief of staff. Then he said, what's that movie where there's complete lawlessness and anarchy for one night a year, he asked, according to the Post. The Purge. It will be like the Purge all the time. And so this is what Carson said.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is predictive programming.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've been saying we're going to lose power over here if we go to war with North Korea.
Dr. Carson, go back to fixing people's hearts. That's where you did the most good. Running your gob about shit you know nothing about makes you look dumb.
Well, you got to remember, Carson also said that the pyramids were built to hold grain in Egypt.
Fucking idiot. Go back to doing what you know and shut up about the other shit. What the fuck is HUD even talking about nuclear war for anyway? Why don't you go take a look at Detroit and do something about that, Dr. Carson? Damn.
But you know, if we ever did lose the grid here, it would be like the Purge. People just be killing each other right and left.
It'd be over in 3 weeks, man, because they have absolutely no fucking idea how to take care of themselves, 90% of people. They couldn't change the tire on their fucking car. They couldn't chase down a rabbit and try to skin the fucking thing and eat. They'd starve to death after, it'd be about 3 weeks. 3 weeks. And they'd start just falling over in the street from starvation.
All right, so out of, say, 313 million Americans, how many do you think would survive the grid going down like in 3 weeks?
Say that again?
Out of 313 million people in this country, I think we have, how many do you think would still be around at the end of 3 weeks of the grid going down? How many million?
Maybe 100. Maybe 100 million. And that's pushing it, I think. Because the rural areas where people know how to still take care of themselves, they're very, very sparsely populated, man. There's less than 40,000 people in my entire fucking county. The town I grew up in was twice the size of the town that I live in now. So,
what do you think, Lance?
So it would go down, keep going down after time, but you're saying what, in 2 or 3 weeks?
Say in 3 weeks, how many millions of people how many people would be left in this country? How many?
A third of them will probably be gone. I would say that quick, but then I think it'll just keep going on. I mean, there will be more and more till something changed it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how long do you think it would take for people started killing each other after the grid went down? How many days?
A week.
2 days.
A week.
Yeah, no, not even that. 2 days.
I mean, a week would be long, but yeah, I mean,
as soon as
4 days in certain cities, you're going to have immediately, like Baltimore, H8 or Best Buy, they'll kick in the doors and everybody will steal TVs first day.
Yep. Well, no, but I mean, as soon as the corner stores and shit start running out of food is when you'll see people start killing each other over food.
Oh yeah, I mean the ABC stores will get
and they'll be empty
the first day.
Yeah, they'll be empty in a day. It won't even take a few hours once word hits the street.
Yeah, but I mean, if there's power out, you can't sell anything because everybody's on a cash register. So, nobody's prepared for no power.
I just wonder how long before people started freaking out, figuring out the power isn't coming back on.
Like
how many days?
That show Grid Down or whatever it was. I mean,
if you didn't have a shortwave radio and you had no way of knowing that there was an EMP attack and the power's not coming on for a long, long time, I wonder how many days you would go before you start getting nervous, wondering if the power's coming back on. 3 days?
Well, you would think news would spread because you might not have a radio, but other people would.
If it goes down here for more than 12 hours, I know something's up because these cats around here are on it. They're on it. If there's a power out, they don't give a shit if it's a single house at the end of a run. They'll stay out there for hours and hours and hours until that house has power. I listen to them on the scanner. I got their frequency, listening to them run these power lines. So, yeah, if it goes out for more than 12 hours around here, I'll just shoot the wires off and hook into my solar, and Bob's your uncle. You know, it's going to be starting minimalistic. You know, it won't be no AC, no central heat, no more. No, you know, just barely being able to run the refrigerator and the stove. But hey, fuck it, it'll still be there.
A lot of people would freeze to death up here if it happened in the wintertime. You know,
yeah. We were talking about that last winter when they were having all the whole big crisis over the gas shit coming out of Russia going up to Europe. You know, he's like, all he's got to do is turn off the spigot. He can freeze millions of people to death. You know, so yeah, it's just that simple. But here's the thing, man. One nuclear weapon, no matter where they set it off at, is not going to drop the entire fucking country. It just doesn't work that way. There's fail-safes built in across the country. So if the entire grid goes down, it's an inside job.
Yeah.
It's just that's just the way. I mean, people don't know physics anymore. They just don't pay attention to.
We might have to call the UN in for help if that happens too.
Well, yeah. Let's see how that goes in Chicago.
That place
maybe that's the staging. Maybe
Chicago's
the staging area for them.
Hey, I mean, they're still pushing that hard. Rahm's not saying no either. So, you know, if the city council or, you know, whatever up in Chicago, if they keep pushing it, it's going to happen up there. The murder rate's off the fucking chart in that town. It's off the chart. So, all right. Got a couple more minutes, Dave. Let's get another story in here so we can.
Well, North Korea just came out and said through KCNA, their state news, they said, and I quote, "The Winter Olympics has nothing to do with denuclearization."
That's never going to happen.
Well, that's what they said. That's what North Korea is saying. It ain't going to happen.
It's all bluster. You know, that's what I've been saying from all these talks and stuff that they say they want to. That's just bullshit. They don't care about it. They're not talking. They talk to hear themselves talk. They already had the plan in place before they ever started moving the ships out. You know,
No.
So
Like I said, they know North Korea is not going to give up their nukes.
right.
North Korea's come out and said, we're not giving up. You can't be more direct than that. You know, so we are heading for war with North Korea. I'm absolutely convinced. And like I said, I think right after the Olympics, after the reach arounds and all that's done between the North and the South, it's go time. And I think the South Korean president even knows it.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't going to matter what he says or think. When America wants to hit, they're going to hit.
Yep. And we're going to pay for it.
Oh, and it's going to be brutal, man. It's going to be brutal economic-wise. It's going to be brutal human-wise, soldier-wise.
I just, you know, if it makes any consolation, I pray that they wait until after the Olympics are over with so that those innocent people that are going to be showing up for those games don't become pawns in this monopoly world that we're in. You know, I really pray that they wait until after the Olympics are over with.
Oh, I do too.
All right.
You know, Trump
Or
had
America could bomb the Olympics and blame it on the Koreans, create more sympathy too.
could be too.
We talked about that last show. You know? It wouldn't be the first time it happened to the Olympics, right? They took a bunch of hostages back in the 70s. Oh. Man, oh man. All right. It's rabbit hole time. Lance, kick it off for us. You said there was a story that you wanted to get to, and then I want to touch on the bond market real quick for a minute, and then we'll dive into some more rabbit holes, man. So it's all yours.
Well, I mean, there were just a couple of stupid ones that are just really pissing me off. Like the Trudeau dickhead. I mean, why can't you call it humankind instead of peoplekind? I mean, I can understand not calling it mankind because whatever,
He's a dickhead.
But
dude.
still, humankind. The fuck kind of word is peoplekind?
Really? He's a complete pole smoker. Fuck that cat, man. All you friends of mine up in Canada, you got your fucking hands full. You think we got our hands full here with Trump? Man, you got your hands full with Trudeau. That guy is going to ruinate your place.
When I saw that story, I said, you know what? Trump may not be that bad, even though he's a piece of shit. But I was like, You know what? That might even be. I mean, that's just
Trudeau
I've
is
never heard of anything. And
he's a
not only
straight
that,
fucking
everybody in the
puppet.
crowd cheered him, and the girl like blushed and giggled at him. I'm like, you fucking man, what?
He is a straight puppet.
Oh. So that was one story that got under my crawl that I saw. So the second one is tonight I was sitting here watching my buddy Tucker Carlson, because I like watching him every night. He's a really cool cat. And there was a story about Google. And this guy put 2 phones in his phone pocket, not connected to Wi-Fi. One of them was in airplane mode, and the other one was, the Wi-Fi was off, so it never connected to Wi-Fi. They went around D.C. on a tour, went to Children's Hospital, went to a couple museums, went to a church, went to a private school. It was like 24 miles. So to see what Google, because all the apps that you have on your phone, at one point you've accepted the privacy statements of them, and all of us, have authorized this. So they get back to the studio and they turn their Wi-Fi on their phones, but it's hooked up to this doohickey that shows the data that's being transported to Google, that's being uploaded to Google.
Yep.
Dude, this shit is fucking badass. It knows if you were walking and how many steps you took. When you got in a car, it says when you exited the car, and it's down to the second. It's not even down to the minute. It's broken down to hundredths of a second. This thing is broken down that says you stepped out of the car at this point and took 10 steps. And it says 100%, guaranteed. So these phones, none of them were hooked up to Wi-Fi.
Now, are these
no SIM
Android?
cards,
these are Android phones,
nothing.
or are these Androids or iPhones?
They look like Androids. They didn't look like iPhones. You know that it's going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
But I was like, holy shit. And it's listening to you. So, makes it, that doubly worse.
We're being listened to every minute of the if you have a cell phone, you're being listened to every minute of the day. You can just bet. Yeah. Unless you're talking into your phone and using the microphone and whatever, it's listening to you.
I know Tucker Carlson's a douche. He's probably one of the biggest douches behind Sean Hannity, who's the biggest douche now that Bill O'Reilly's off of the TV. So it goes, Bill O'Reilly, Sean Hannity, and then Tucker. He's a douche.
Yep.
But he has some good stories. And that story that blew my mind, man. Absolutely blew my fucking mind.
Okay, since we're touching on this, did you see the stories that came out last week about the Fitbit thing that's been letting people online see where secret bases are around the world and blah, 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 because the soldiers are wearing these Fitbits and they're going on their runs around this secret base, and it's showing up online. There's no roads to it. There's no, there's nothing on that says what it is. It's just these guys running in the middle of nowhere as far as Google Earth is concerned. There's a couple of them down in Antarctica that got exposed. There's a couple of them over in Europe that got exposed, a couple here in the U.S. that got exposed, just because these cats are wearing these Fitbits, and it's uploading shit to the web.
Oh, yeah, I did see that story, yeah.
Yeah, so
they knew where training bases were and all that shit.
Yeah, it'll get you. It'll get you in the end, man. It'll get you.
Big brother. I mean, I called my son in to watch the story, too. He's like, what's that mean?
It's not even Big Brother. This is just the data collection, dude. This is the World Wide Web. This is the AI that wants to know every fucking thing. Look, when these guys created the D-Wave and all the stuff that they're doing with it, they literally told people that they're pulling demons from other dimensions with this computer, all right? They want to make the D-Wave as smart as the collective of everyone on the planet. So they're trying to gather data from everyone. That's the whole 5G network. They want to connect the entire world. Places that have never seen the fucking internet are going to have the internet if they establish this 5G. So there you go.
Oh, one other thing that it took 120 or 130 barometric pressure and temperature readings throughout the 7-hour course.
So it can tell you
And
how
as soon
high
as
you
they
are in
connected
elevation.
to Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
it told them the temperature in every building that they were at.
And if they went up to the 30th floor versus
during
the
their
first
whole
one.
thing.
Yep, yep.
Makes me want to go out and get a damn flip phone or find an old flip phone, you know.
I still got a bag phone out in the garage, man.
Yeah.
From way back in the
But
day.
I mean, you know, if we cared, we wouldn't be carrying around a smartphone. So we're the dumbasses for carrying smartphones. Who's the
You know,
smartphone?
I got to tell you, I care, but it's become a necessity. If you don't have a way to, you know, I used to have a house
You're
phone
right.
here. People don't, you know, it's become a necessity. It's a necessary
you're right.
evil. So that's how they get you. That's how they get you.
Yep.
That's why they're making people dumber too. They're going to get everybody with the AI. This thing will remember everything for you. All you got to do is ask it a question. You don't have to remember anything. Stay dumb. Sit on your couch.
It's easier.
Watch your TV.
Yeah, it's easier.
Hey, Google. Oh, shit.
All those commercials were everywhere. I mean, they're really
Yeah.
pushing that really hard.
Oh, during the Super Bowl, they had that Alexa lost her voice thing. What the fuck? Oh,
Yeah,
man.
and speaking of that, I was watching. I really didn't watch it. I mean, I was in the same room it was on, but I never really watched it. But the halftime, I was like, all right, let me see what kind of demonic, satanic things I could pick up out of it. The purple, you know, I picked up on that right away. The whole city was in purple. But then that devil's tail when Prince was on the thing, I was like, oh, what? So, and
I didn't
I'm
watch any
sure
of it,
that
dude.
there have been 10 million videos out there on it. But again, I mean, I'm working till 7, 8, 9 o'clock every night now. So I haven't looked at one story about it. So, but I did see that.
I didn't watch any of it, so I don't know what you're talking
I
about.
didn't watch. I went to bed right after halftime, but
I heard that the commercials really sucked. None of them were, you know, breakneck like they used to be back in the day. That's all I've heard. And Justin Timberlake did some horrendous tribute to Prince or something. I don't know. That's all I've heard. That's all I've seen on the Facebook. I did see a really, really interesting video from Monograph breaking down the whole theme of the Super Bowl and what happened the whole night, you know, kind of breaking it down, how the Eagles stomped on the Patriots and won the game against all odds, blah, blah, blah. First time in history that they've won. I don't know. You got to go watch Monograph's thing. I wouldn't do it any justice trying to break it down for you. So, very interesting, though. Yeah. So, let's talk about the game. I mean, did anybody watch it? Did you watch it, David?
I watched it.
Did you? They said it was a very, very good one, I guess. Had a lot of
Yeah, it
good
was a
plays.
real good game.
Yeah, yeah.
It was close the whole game. I think the Eagles only won like by 5 points, I think.
Didn't somebody wind up with a score of 33 or something?
I don't remember what the score was.
I don't know. The Monograph video was quite interesting. I think I sent it to you, Lance. Did you watch it?
I did. I watched it in its entirety.
What do you think?
You know, he had a lot of correlations, like the 44 and the 33. The score ended up being whatever it was. They
77.
were both Freemason numbers.
And then they added up to 77.
The purple talked about pink opening,
The magenta.
you know, doing the opening match, and then purple, and you mix the two together, and it's magenta, and then magenta is the power color. So, I mean, it gave, you know, he kind of went off on some tangents. Yeah, 33-41 was the score. But, I mean, he went off on some tangents, but Monograph is always, you know, he had to have been an old spook or something because he just knows too much, knows too many people. He's not a dog.
It was interesting watching it. You know, but I used to watch Mr. Cat Eye too, and I can't watch him anymore for whatever reason. I don't know. I just can't. He got too out there for me. You know, I can't follow the whole entire numerology thing and how he puts his. You know,
he was out there months ago for me. I tried getting into him 6 months or a year ago when you were into him, and I was like, this guy's reaching so far. I mean, I could make up. Anybody can make the way he was saying them. It was like almost anybody can make up these numbers. It was almost like that median that used to fool people.
Yeah, but he is actually ex-military intelligence. You know, I mean, he is.
I'm sure.
So, but I don't know. I can't do the whole numerology thing. I just can't. I can't get it. He's interesting to listen to, and breaking down his little, you know, how he breaks down all of his little diagrams that he does on his videos. That it caught me up for a while. I watched him for quite a while, probably a year. But then I just got away. I couldn't do it anymore. Gave me headaches. What else you guys want to rabbit hole? Let's talk about the bond market.
So the hold on, let me take a sip.
We had the big 12,
rates have gone up
1,600 points.
0.5 to 0.75% in the past 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. So, you know, obviously everybody's seeing, especially if you turn on mainstream or everything else, they're talking about that biggest drop ever in the stock market. But even the lady on CBS News this morning, Melody, whoever it is, when it comes on there, she was like, you know, yes, it was the largest drop, but if you take it into relation of the percentage, it wasn't even in the top 20.
Right. It was only like 4%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's been a shell game forever. I mean, we've been known that it was coming on forever. The Feds didn't raise the rates last month. They're going to raise them next month. So all this increase in rates right now, it just leads me to believe they may raise them up a half instead of the typical quarter. That's my prediction because of how much the rates have gone up. Usually they go up a quarter, maybe 0.375%. I mean, they've gone up worse 5%, 5.25%, 5.5% on some of these 30-year fixed rate programs that I haven't seen since before the crash. I haven't seen rates like that, like this, since before the crash. And I've been doing it since 2002. And I've seen it go, and I'm telling you, I have not seen rates this high since the crash.
People got to understand too that raising the interest rate by 0.5% would nearly make our possibility of repaying the debt non-existent, because we can barely cover the interest payments on the debt that this country owes right now at 0% or 0.25% or whatever it's sitting at right now. So to even have 1% interest on our debt would make it untenable. We couldn't pay it. We couldn't pay it. We couldn't pay the interest. Right now, if they liquidated everything in this country, we couldn't pay the debt. So, it's just numbers on a screen. Go ahead.
I mean, and then, you know, the 10-year bond has gone up. People, I mean, it's everybody's skitterish in the markets, that's for sure right now. But, I mean, it's either going to go full tilt or it's going to level itself out. But I think that this is all just in anticipation of probably a full 0.5% next month. But I could be wrong.
NASA, if you're still in the room, that's 322 is the Skull and Bones number. 322. See ya. Tell Jeff I said hey. Fuel prices have gone up again. Addie says out there on the West Coast. They're not. I mean, they're kind of creeping up here, maybe a couple of cents here and there, but not a whole lot. We're still under $3 a gallon for premium, so that's not too shabby.
I don't even look at. I get my gas at Wawa, and I can't even tell you the last time I looked at the price of gas because it doesn't fucking matter. I got to get it. I'm serious. I have no clue what gas is costing right now.
There's only a couple of stations that I'll buy fuel from around here too, because I don't like ethanol in my shit. You know, I like fuel. If I'm paying for fuel, I want fuel. So there's only a couple places that I'll buy that don't have any ethanol. So there's that too. Pay a little extra for that, but that's all right. Makes your engines last a lot longer. 240 in the Midwest, Mark Aaron says. Joanna wants to know what our opinions are on a reset. Well,
like we've said before, that'd be the only way that you could ever pull yourself or the country pull itself out of it would be a reset. I mean, we've spoken about that,
and we're still in the
many years now.
We're still in the year of the Shemitah. You know, the Shemitah last 18, the final.
It's the super Shemitah.
Super Shemitah
was that a couple of years ago?
No, that's this year. It was 2017, 20, and extending into 2018. So there might be the whole worldwide everybody's debts forgiven thing, Jubilee. So, and that sounds like a worldwide reset to me. You know, they're going to switch everybody over to this cryptocurrency, and you're going to have this chip stuck in your hand or somewhere on your body so that you can buy and sell and mark of the beast. That's the way I see it going anyway. You know, the banks don't like the cryptos that are out there right now, so they're going to poo-poo them until they get rid of them all, and then they're going to come out with their own cryptos, and they're going to say, if you guys want digital currency, here you go. Because no matter what,
they already have it. It's called Visa and MasterCard.
True. But I think they're going to change it. There's going to be a one world currency. There's going to be like a world crypto dollar or something. Or each individual country.
Doubloon. That's what I want. The doubloon.
The doubloon. Or each individual country is going to have their own currency, and then they're going to do the whole special drawing rights thing or the basket of currency. I don't know how they're going to do it, but it's all going to go digital. We can already see it happening. There's certain countries that are doing it mandatorily. So that's what I see for a reset, and I see it coming as soon as these bombs start falling out of the sky. It doesn't matter where it starts, in Syria, Iran, Israel, North Korea, China, wherever the fuck it starts, it's going to start. And as soon as that, because they're going to have that in order to keep people from pointing fingers at other people. You know what I mean? So that's what I see anyway. Ripple is a bank ledger, she says. Yep. 253 a gallon in Illinois. That's nowhere near Chicago, I'll bet. Hashgraph. Diesel around here. All right. What other rabbit holes? Come on now. We still got 40 minutes. You got one, David? You got one that's not world related and world news related?
Isn't there a story about like $400 million missing right now? Isn't that what happened to Donald Rumsfeld right before the Pentagon was bombed in the same place that they were doing it? I remember hearing that story over the last week.
Yeah, but they were looking for $2 trillion from the DOD on 9/11.
Oh, is that what it was last time?
$2 trillion unaccounted for. Right before the plane hit the finance part of the Pentagon.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, that was on September 10th that he gave that little speech. Go ahead, David.
I don't have anything.
You don't have no rabbit holes you want to touch on?
No, I don't.
Oh, come on, man. We got to talk about something. We still got over a half an hour to cover.
I don't really follow all the conspiracy stuff that much.
No, it doesn't have to be conspiracy related. It's just some kind of rabbit hole that's not related to World War III.
This came out while you and Lance were talking.
Right.
It says prosecutors want judge to reconsider dismissal of Cliven Bundy case. It says federal prosecutors asked a judge to reconsider her decision to dismiss charges against rancher Cliven Bundy and others, while dropping an indictment against 4 of the defendants who have yet to face a jury, according to court papers filed today. And it says prosecutors call the dismissal unwarranted and unjust, saying the judge could have considered other options. Now, this is crazy here. It says the defendants in this case have repeatedly asserted that they do not recognize the federal government's authority over them or its regulatory authority over the public lands. Interim U.S. Attorney Dale Ellison wrote, and then he wrote, says, in this country, they have the right to hold those beliefs and to espouse them in any lawful manner, but they are not and were not entitled to obstruct federal officers' enforcement of lawful court orders, threaten force against those officers, or extort civilian contractors supporting the officers simply because they disagree with the court order or thought the officers used intimidating or provocative tactics in preparing to enforce it. What do you think about that?
Imagine that. Imagine all that. Jeez. What were we saying right from the very beginning? That, you know, the guy was just out there trying to take it. This goes back to his cattle ranch shit, right? And the guys with the rifles on the overpass and blah. This has nothing to do with the birdcage, right? When they overtook the Malheur wildlife. I mean, this goes all the way back to the shit on his ranch, right? Where they stole his cattle.
Yeah, this goes back to 2014.
Yeah. See? I mean, we were talking about it then.
Well, basically, the government's basically saying that if we want your land, you have no right to defend it from us. You're supposed to just hand it over without a fight.
That's not the way it works around here, fellas. The government doesn't own shit. The people own it. The government works for us.
I guess I got one thing to ask with Bundy. Was he behind in his taxes or didn't pay it or something, and they were coming to take the land because of that?
No, the whole thing started because he used to have grazing rights on this large area. And for whatever reason, the federal government came in there and said that they now had control over X portion of that area. And he was like, I don't give a fuck. And he still let his cows out there to graze. So we started whacking his fucking cattle for grazing on land that wasn't. And, you know, it's just, I don't know. It escalated from there. Then they tried to get him for tax evasion and blah, 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 blah. It's a long involved. Yeah, I mean, it went on for years. He was battling for that, about that shit for years. So
government doesn't like winners.
No, they don't like people that stand up, you know.
The judge is probably getting death threats from the government.
Hey, man, kudos to, is it a female? Kudos to her.
Yeah, it's a woman.
Yeah. I still want to see justice for Lavoy Finicum and his family. I want to see that $70 million lawsuit go through all the way.
Well, he said, Bundy's attorney said here, he said the government prosecutors could be looking to extend the time period to decide whether they want to appeal that judge's ruling to a higher court. You know, so basically try to keep it going until they can get a decision from a higher court.
Yeah.
And this story came out that it doesn't have to do with World War III. It says police chiefs in unanimous agreement to recommend indictment against Benjamin Netanyahu. They're going to indict him finally.
Wow, I can't.
Police chiefs are in unanimous agreement that there is sufficient evidence to indict Netanyahu for bribe taken in case 1000 or the so-called gifts affair. And it says, regarding case 2000, police are divided on whether there is an evidentiary basis for criminal charges. In case 1000, Netanyahu and his wife are suspected of receiving illicit gifts from billionaire benefactors.
Didn't they have her for embezzlement too, of public funds?
Yeah, she's still under investigation for that. They haven't
okay.
made a decision on that yet.
All right, I'd love to see that fat sumbitch in handcuffs,
But
man.
they're saying that they have unanimous agreement to indict him. Now the question is, can they make it? Will it be enough to go to jail, or will it just be
Oh, you're going to pay a huge fine.
a huge fine?
Yeah, we'll give you 50 years to pay it off.
I mean, he'll have to step down probably as prime minister if he gets into
If he
found
gets
guilty.
convicted, yeah, if he gets convicted, maybe. If fine, they don't care. Clintons will pay that for him.
Well, maybe Trump will pay it for him.
Or Kissinger or somebody. Somebody will step in there and help him out.
Trump's BFFs with him.
Yeah. Yeah, they swap yarmulkes or whatever the fuck them things are called that they put on their heads. Lance, you got anything else over there, man?
Not that I can think of.
Oh, come on.
No, not that I can think of. I just, like I said, I've been out of it for the last couple of weeks now.
Working your ass off.
Yeah, I have,
good
and
for
then going out and having a good time, hanging out with some people. You saw what I was doing Saturday night.
What you were doing or who you were doing?
Well, both.
I only got the one picture, so I was happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm hoping and praying that all this shit just sits still for another 6 months or more, because I want to have a really nice summer.
Yeah, another couple decades would be fine with me. But
That too.
I mean, I hear
That
you.
too. But I still think that this is we've already gone over the Rubicon, man. I don't think there's any going back now. So
We're a pretty poor nation as far as our people as a whole go. I mean, our intestinal fortitude is gone. I mean, there are a bunch of limp dicks.
Yeah.
our
Skinny
gumption,
jean wearing.
It's gone. I mean, there's
Tide
too
Pod
many
eating.
snowflakes. There's too many snowflakes.
Yeah. Now the new challenge now is to draw a gun on somebody, I guess, and if they're not packing, you shoot them. Have you guys seen this shit? I mean, it's gone way past Tide Pods now. This new one's called Arm Up or whatever the fuck. I can't remember what the challenge is called, but people are just running around and drawing a gun on people, and if they don't pull a gun out, you shoot them. If they're not packing, you're supposed to shoot them. So talk about thinning the herd, man. If that catches on like the Tide Pod shit did, oh my God. Soy boys. I believe it was to the state, not to the federal government. He hadn't paid for the grazing rights, Willows said. But he had the previous owner's rights already and been doing it for decades. So there was something about a grandfather clause and whatever, just because the federal government manages the land, they don't have rights to payment, blah, blah, blah. The government doesn't own a fucking thing except a few square miles in D.C. and a couple of military bases in the U.S. Everything else, they just manage. They can't give you anything unless they take it from somebody else because they don't got shit. And that's the way it's supposed to be. They work at our behest. And we've gotten so far away from that, man, it makes my head spin. It almost makes me want to vomit when I think just how pussified the people in this country have become and how dependent they have become, not just on the government, but on their pharmaceuticals and on the fucking movie industry and television and their cell phones. And fuck, man, it boggles me, man. It boggles me how far down the toilet we have gone in the 50 years that I've been alive. It's pathetic. It's pathetic that we are in the state that we're in.
Appalling.
That too. Thank you.
Appalling. And there's still so many good people here. But there's a generation now that I don't have a whole lot of hope in.
There's college students eating Tide Pods for a college kid. It blows me away, man. It blows me away. And the first time I saw those videos of the dudes shooting one another, some cat in Cleveland, I think, they coved out his head. You're supposed to shoot him in the leg or, just wound him. That dude got foreheaded. They just murdered him because he wasn't packing. Whatever, man. Hey, don't bring that shit to the Ozarks, people. Everybody carries a gun around this motherfucker.
So everybody. Speaking of packing.
Yeah.
That Browning, so the Baby Rock.
Yeah, the Baby Rock's a nice little 380, dude. It's a nice little 380. It's made just like a 45. It's nice. You ought to go look at it. M&P Shield's another good one if you want, or a bodyguard if you're looking for a small one. You want something you just drop in your pocket, yeah? Smith & Wesson bodyguard. Little Glock 26. You're going to have to go with a single stack, though. If you don't want it pooching out. Where'd you go, Lance? Oh, man. They clipped him because we started talking about weapons. Damn it. Hurry back, Lance. Maybe he had an emergency poop or something.
Started talking about guns and got them all excited.
Yeah. Farted and turned out to be wet. All right. You got another story over there you want to hit? I don't want to have to pull up my Twitter.
All I got is war stuff left.
Yeah, go ahead. Fuck it.
All right, Pence is talking live right now to the troops over in Japan.
Oh, God.
This is what he said so far. He said, as we modernize our nuclear arsenal, we will make our strategy more flexible, tailored to the threats we face today, and we will have the nuclear might to deter any strategic attack on our nation and our people anywhere in the world. He said, there are those who seek to reverse this progress and ultimately drive American influence from the region. So they may tyrannize their citizens and threaten violence across the wider world. And none fit this description better than the rogue regime in North Korea. It says, as we speak, an estimated 100,000 North Korean citizens labor in modern-day gulags. It says, those who dare raise their voices in dissent are imprisoned, tortured, and even murdered. Their children and grandchildren are routinely punished for their family sins against the state. It says, North Korea's tyrants have never been content to merely subjugate their own people. They still harbor the dream of conquering their neighbors to the south. In recent years, North Korea has threatened the United States, Japan, and our allies across the region. It says, we will continue to strive to peacefully dismantle North Korea's nuclear program and alleviate the suffering of its people. But at every step of the way, North Korea answered our overtures with willful deception, broken promises, and endless and escalating provocations. We will continue to act, and vigilance and resolve will be our lodestar. We are ready for any eventuality. All options are on the table.
Congratulations to that speechwriter. You're a flag-waving patriot.
I like the way they throw out the nukes in the very beginning of them.
Yeah. Don't test our button. It's bigger. Right? But we're not going to shoot one off because we don't know if it's going to explode.
And then this is what else he said here. Pence said, he said, the challenges that lie ahead will demand every ounce of your courage. But I have confidence that you will confront and overcome whatever tests or trials may arise, just as those who came before you. It says, and so today, on behalf of your commander-in-chief, I urge you to be vigilant, mind your mission, look after one another. We are ready for any eventuality again, and all options are on the table. So he's getting those troops ready, man.
Lance said his Wi-Fi went out, so I told him to go look for the black van.
Pence is there giving a war speech.
Yeah, because that's what they're getting ready to do, go to war, right?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, troops, before I leave, one last thing. Make sure that all of your life insurance papers are signed and up to date, and ship them home to your wives. Thanks. I'm out.
Thanks for your sacrifice.
Right. Try not to lose any limbs. We got enough of you fucking guys running around the United States with no legs and arms and shit, making us all look bad.
Well,
So that's why it's going to be nuclear. That's why it's going to be a nuclear exchange, because they don't want
war
any
breaks
wounded.
out, the number of deaths going to be so high because there's no way. There's like 12 million people who live in Seoul alone.
Well, that's
there's
what I'm
no
saying.
way you're going to be able to evacuate 12 million people, man.
That's why I'm wanting to know. I honest to God, want to know what is the evacuation rate right now. I mean, how many people are just packing up their shit and moving out because they see this coming down the pike? Honest to God, I really want to know that. If anybody in the room wants to try to find that out for me, that would be awesome. Just random, whatever. Turning over their fucking apartment to Airbnb. Hey, you guys can use it anytime you want because we won't fucking be here. Whatever. I really, really want to know because I guarantee you there's several hundred that have left already, if not more. Unless they're just completely stupid like the rest of the country, of the United States,
Well, he used the word, and as in his speech to those troops, he used the word lodestar, and everybody on Twitter's talking about that, and it says, lodestars is a star that is used to guide the course of a ship, especially Polaris.
Mm.
So he's using terminology in that speech, too, that...
There's also a plane, I think, a 4-engine troop transport that's called a lodestar, if I'm not mistaken. I never jumped out of it myself personally, but I think there's one out there. It's called a lodestar.
Called the troops America's lodestar.
Is your kid grabbing a gun, Pence, and joining in the fight? I'll bet
So
he's
basically
not.
saying the troops are guiding the course of this ship. I mean, like I said, you got people analyzing his speech here, and it's crazy some of the stuff that he used by telling them, your mission's going to be a tough one.
This is all predictive
challenges
programming
that lie
too.
ahead will demand every ounce of your courage.
This is all predictive programming too. I mean, they're just readying everybody for what's coming.
Oh yeah. So they already got North Korea picked out.
Yep. Because they
That's gonna
can't
set off
they can't go into
that's
Iran
gonna
right
set
now.
up a shitstorm.
We can't go into Iran. We're going to leave that up to Israel.
Yep, we are too.
So
That's Israel's baby. We divided it up between us and Israel.
I'm sure we'll have troops over there associated with it, but it'll be an Israeli operation.
Oh yeah, we've
Or
got
NATO.
a permanent base in Israel right now.
Yeah, it'll be NATO or something. Blue hats. But they'll take the lead. The IDF will take the lead on that one, and they'll probably go through Syria and do it. So, be a good test for the S-400s because Iran's got a ton of them fucking things over there now.
Yep.
I'm surprised that Assad's just not lighting them all up and saying, come on with it. If we're going to do this shit, let's do it. Because the little drips and drabs and drips and, you know what I mean? That's all it does is piss a bunch of people off.
And they're saying that we killed in that strike we did earlier against Assad's people, saying what we killed 100 pro-Assad troops were killed after a large force of tanks and artillery threatened American advisors and Syrian Democratic forces. So we took out a shitload of his tanks and artillery because they were threatening our special forces and the SDF.
Whoops. Be a lot more of that coming.
Yep.
You back yet, Lance? Nope.
Kind of internet's he used, Kmart?
He's just using his phone. When he gets to the house, he doesn't have a computer at the house anymore. It took a shit on him, and he never wanted to get another one because he uses one for work all day long. So he's like, by the time I get home, dude, I don't even want to look at a computer. So he just got Skype on his phone, and I guess he goes through his Wi-Fi because the kid at the house has his games and stuff through Wi-Fi. So
Uh,
if the Wi-Fi went out, the phone went down. And I guess he don't want to burn up his data.
I got unlimited.
Yeah, me too. I got unlimited at the house.
My two boys, they always use it up, so I said, fine, we're getting unlimited in. And actually, I'm paying less for unlimited than what I was paying for not unlimited.
Me too. I dropped my cable TV, so I don't have cable at the house at all anymore. I got the big TV hooked up as a huge monitor for the computer now, so I got 2 monitors, and that's it. I got unlimited Wi-Fi, and it's down to like, I think it's like $95 a month or something for unlimited. And then I got my phone. I turned my phone way down too. It's only like $60 a month for the bill for it. So
I called and complained because they tried to raise my bill on my limited that I had, and I think I had like 8 gigabytes. And they tried to, they were going to jack prices up on that. So I said, I said, I tell you what, how about I get rid of, I get rid of this and get your competitors,
around here, there's only one if you want land-based. Otherwise, you got to go satellite, and it sucks balls. I couldn't do the show over satellite. So they got a lock on the market here. Sudden Link.
Well, I was talking about my phone.
Yeah.
I got a Verizon.
Yeah,
I called
Verizon's
them
the
up and
big
said,
one.
I'm going to get rid of you and go to AT&T if you jack my bill up. And so not only did they lower my bill, they said, I'll tell you what, we'll give you a deal on unlimited, and it's actually $10 cheaper for unlimited.
Yeah. They can adjust the rates however they want to keep their
Oh,
customers.
yeah, they can. You just got to call them up and say, hey, I'm going to get rid of you.
Yeah. But see, they kind of got a lock around here on Verizon too, because there's AT&T available, but their coverage just sucks. Because all the hills and stuff, they don't have near the cell sites that they need to have decent coverage around here. So Verizon's pretty much got a lock on it too, unless you live in town. So, but I've always liked Verizon. They got better coverage nationwide than any other service. Because they were the originators of Ma Bell. They got all Ma Bell's infrastructure. Let's see. Tore down a lot of the projects. Chicago Housing Authority they're talking about. Doesn't Turkey have the 2nd or 3rd largest air force in the world? They got the 3rd largest army in NATO. They're the 3rd largest army in NATO. I don't know about the world. I don't think so. I think China and Russia and the U.S. and Germany's probably got them beat. But I don't know. I don't know about Germany. I know the U.S. has more troops. I know Russia definitely has more troops than Turkey. But yeah, they got the 3rd largest army in NATO, armed forces. So, and there's some, well, I'm not going to say they, right? Because I'm sure that there's Turkish people that are just as cool as anybody else in the chat. But their leader is a fucking lunatic. And the troops follow him. So. And they got that whole our people are better than your people thing going. And I don't dig that shit either. So. Anyway. What else you got over there, Dave? We still got 15 minutes.
What else?
David Howard. Yeah, how did Nixon make that phone call? Man, was that something or was that something? He made a live phone call with no cell service whatsoever yet back in the 60s, called the fucking moon. That was something. That was something. Right straight from the White House. Picked up that fucking receiver. It wasn't even a red phone or nothing. It was just a regular phone, and called the moon and talked to them boys up there. That was amazing.
Hey, Jimmy, I hate to leave you hanging, but I'm going to have to hop off here, dude. My wife's got an issue going on I got to deal with.
Oh, right on, brother. Right on.
She's sitting here messaging me on Facebook. And
get your ass upstairs and take care of these youngins. Bring your paddle.
some other things going on here we were talking about earlier.
Right on, brother. Go take it. Family first, always. Family first. I'll go ahead.
Thanks for having me on, dude.
Hey, not a problem, man. I'll see you on Saturday, hopefully.
Yeah, you'll see me.
I'm glad everything turned out half good at the doctor's too, brother.
Yeah, appreciate the love and everything. It's one part's taken care of, but then they want to hit you with something else. So we'll see how that goes.
I'm praying for you every day, dude, just like everybody else.
Thanks, man.
All right, brother. Take care. Have a good night.
Take care, man.
All right. Well, since Lance ain't going to make it back because his shit's still out, Dave's not going to talk no more because he's got to go do some shit. I'm just going to go ahead and play us out, and we'll end the show 15 minutes early. Sorry. But that's okay. Hour and 45, 2 hours. What's the difference, right? If you have not found Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, I beg you to do so from the bottom of my heart. Please, time is very, very short. Seek the face of God while you can. I'll see you guys on Saturday. Love, peace, and cookies.
Time and the season, it's almost here, and the signs and the reasons are very clear. The fulfillment of scripture is coming true, and we're expectantly waiting. The time is due. There's a change that is brewing, an urgent call. It's the same kind of feeling before you fall. It's a sense, it's an instinct, an inner voice. It's a test. Are you listening? Have you made your choice? There's a crossroad coming. Do you know your path? Are you lost and running? Do you fear the wrath? Don't you feel all the heaviness in the air? If it's real, are you ready? Is your soul prepared? There's a big thing coming and there's not much time. It's all been written by God's design. There's a plan and a purpose, it's all divine. If you're awake and you heard this, you know the signs. There's a big thing coming and there's not much time. It's all been written by God's design. There's a plan and a purpose, it's all divine. If you're awake and you heard this, you know the signs. Is your family equipped if the time has come? Would you have what you need or be scared and run? No matter where you are, no matter what you believe, there's a change that is coming, to that we agree. It's like we all seem to know that there's not much time before we reach the tipping point and we cross the line. Got one foot in the chasm of this growing crack. We're at the edge of the cliff and there's no turning back. There's a big thing coming and there's not much time. It's all been written by God's design. There's a plan and a purpose, it's all divine. If you're awake and you heard this, you know the signs. There's a big thing coming and there's not much time. It's all been written by God's design. There's a plan and a purpose, it's all divine. If you're awake and you heard this, you know the signs. With the labor pains growing, you can count the days. So many earthquakes, tornadoes, and tidal waves. It's the eve of destruction, the harvest's here. It's the reaping, but we will not live in fear. For our time of redemption is coming soon. By divine intervention, we'll see the truth arriving live and direct for all to view. If you haven't read the Bible, I pray you do. There's a big thing coming and there's not much time. It's all been written by God's design. There's a plan and a purpose, it's all divine. If you're awake and you heard this, you know the signs. There's a big thing coming and there's not much time. It's all been written by God's design. There's a plan and a purpose, it's all divine. If you're awake and you heard this, you know the signs. It's like time speeding up and it seems so fast. And while a month slips by, a year has passed. You hear the same kind of feeling all over the globe. Not sure just what it's revealing, but you're not alone. The same dreams that you're dreaming are all repeating. It seems that while we are sleeping, we're given meanings. And when it all goes down, there will be no doubt. From the east to the west to the north,